Brighten. It's not because the first part's in black and white. Okay, welcome back to 363. Guess what? We're so close to the end. And guess what? My light's blue. And I know you're wondering, hey, why don't you turn on a different light? My laptop is that bright as I can, and it's going to blind my eyes later when it stops being in black and white. Flashback form, but then also, all the other lights are on. It's just 2 bulbs in this room, that's it. So wait, no, not very bright. Oh, what if a little bit better. Anyways, I got really upset this morning. Not really upset. When I'm like really upset, people are like, oh, so you did this? I'm like, no, I mean, I had a lot of emotions. I didn't get like violent. And it's just like, that's not what I mean. And so like one time I usually exaggerate, like, oh, put this here and then run for it, and like, or run. And they're like, why would you run? People would panic. I'm like, no, I'm not actually running. Like, run, like, I didn't mean run. And I understand, it's just how I speak. I guess it's like fishing tales, where you're like, oh, the fish, you know, this big, and it was pulling our boat, you know, 5 miles per hour, you know. What I'm saying, it's probably the boat moved, but you're not moving that. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, so what happened is, I was upset this morning because I got a call, and they're like, oh, we don't have an appointment until December. And I'm like, you said you can double book me for Friday, and I didn't know that was a thing, but someone said you can do that and would do that. And anyways, I forgot to say this all again because I said it so many times, I forgot that part. So I'm just like, okay, so I kind of just took her at her word, like, okay, fine, the 13th is the best I can get. It's not gonna work. And she's like, what? I'm like, it's just not gonna work, sorry. And she's like, oh. I'm like, I'm sorry you had to call me, but that's just not gonna work. I'll have to just figure something out. And she's like, well, don't just show up. I'm like, I'm not gonna just show up, chill. So I think she thought I meant I was just gonna show up. I'm like, no, I'm gonna figure it out, as in have someone else do it, it's fine. So what happened is, I was really upset, because she said, because you're so late to schedule. And I'm like, I'm not late to schedule. I called 2 weeks ago to do this because you had 2 weeks in advance booked, but it was, I wasn't late to schedule. It was just at my location, it wasn't, available. So I'm just like, okay. So I don't know, like at my office, and then they ordered the testosterone for that place, so I can't get it anywhere else. So now I can't go to a different facility nearby, whatever. And it just was like, okay, whatever. So I decided that I was going to, just, oh, it's so fine. And then she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll have someone do it. I know my sister hates it, but maybe my aunt, or I'll figure it out, whatever. And she was just like, no, because you only have 2 more refills. Are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, 2 more refills mean 2 more months. Just because I need to get it restocked every, what, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, what? 9, 10, 11, 12, I guess every 4 months, question mark? Every 4 months I need to redo, my refills. But I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. So what happened is, because I'm like, I already refilled it before. She's like, okay, sure. And I was like, okay. And it was just like, I didn't need this sass, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm not, because she full on, I think, was really angry that I was trying to make an appointment 3 days in advance. And I was like, no, I've been making an appointment 2 weeks in advance. This is just the back and forth at speed we've been going at. So anyway, so I should have asked to just talk to a different person in the actual, because they're like, talk to somebody that's actually in the medicine, not the one of the nurses. They can't do it, but we will. I should have just said that anyway. So I'm just like, well, it doesn't matter, whatever. So if I'm gonna have to make an appointment for that day, so be it. Like in advance, so be it. But so I go to my other shot place, so different doctors, different everything. I go and she gives me shots on my arm, and I was like, hey, just like personal question. She goes, yeah. Well, not personal question, I just said a question. And I said, would you feel comfortable giving yourself a shot in the thigh with a size 22 gauge needle? And she's like, why does it have to be so big? I'm like, it's, you know, it is the needle size. She goes, it's the thick. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, no. And I'm like, you're a nurse, you get shots every single day. And she goes, yeah, I have tattoos and I have ear piercings, and because I mentioned it first that I do. And she's just like, but I cannot give myself a shot in the thigh with that big of a needle. And I'm like, every 2 weeks. And she's like, no. One time, yeah, but not every 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay. So I wouldn't say she's better off than me, but I did it 12 times. I want people to recognize that I did it 12 times. It just got worse every time. Anyways, so I'm talking to her and I'm like, thank you, you know, because like, you know, it's really vindicating, validating, vindicating, that she was so like, no, I couldn't do this. It was really nice. So I'm like, thank you. Okay, a little bit of, it was a very slow, like no one else was there, so I felt comfortable talking to her. And anyways, so what happened is she was like, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that, blah blah. And she's like, you can go to an urgent care. And I'm like, I did, but they were like $60. She's like, no, don't go there. Go outside of your network, outside of it. Just go to an urgent care down the street. And she's like, I work there. And I just go, you're a nurse. You have to have 2 jobs. Just saying. That sucks. So I'm just like, because I know nurses in this building sometimes go to different places within this building, but the fact that it's not the same person who owns this building, it's like a completely different facility. I'm just like, why do you have 2 jobs? Like, the fact that America needs nurses to have 2 jobs to... Anyways, she says people will show up and get their birth control shots. They'll have their dose, show up. I looked up, it's the same kind of little vial, show up, and they'll give it there. She's like, just call to make sure they will do it, they can actually do it, but then if they can, you don't have to make an appointment. You just walk in, get it done, and it will not be $60. And I'm like, thank you. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. I'm gonna call them. They're open pretty late, thank goodness. I'm gonna give them a call. But just like, I'm so glad, because I was so upset. And the fact that she agreed that like she wouldn't want to do it. And the fact that because I'm like, other nurses keep telling me like, oh, why can't you just do it yourself? I'm like, I don't want to. I literally seen it's just one of those things where causing myself pain. I don't like doing it. I don't want to do it. And for a very long time when I was a child, I mentally self-harming, but not physically. So I know people that are like, oh, I was physically self-harming and now giving myself shots. It's like, I'm okay with it. And I'm like, ooh, I would not. Wait. So anyways, so I'm like, so anyways, I don't, if my body tells me don't do it, just don't. So I'm gonna call her. But the thing is, then I realized the day I'm gonna go in for that shot, she my other doctor is closed. I'm just like, just imagine I show up and I am just like, okay, here's your testosterone. Nurse walks in and it's my nurse from my other doctor, and I just have to sit there like, hi, and she just has to stab my thigh and give me testosterone injection. It really sucks just because the thing is, eventually I might be okay with giving it. The problem is that I have been so much worse now, and I just need a few times not doing it. And the fact that I can't get that, it just sucks. I get it if there's appointments, if they have, I understand if they're all filled up, but the fact that I really need to, and they're just like, oh, we'll just get it done on the 13th then, if you're so late. I'm like, whoa, this ass. I just didn't know, like, the time before that, they were 2 weeks in advance. So I assumed they were 2 weeks in advance again, and then they tried to send me to my one particular location. Anyways, it was, my cat is snoring. It just, anyways, so I'm gonna call, and that's really nice of her. Really, really nice of her. It's funny because she doesn't, it's funny because she's the same nurse that, didn't understand and kind of made fun of me wanting to go to an arcade, and I'm just like, listen, I just want to go to an arcade, man. She's like, and then I was like, going to the fair, and she's just like, oh yeah, I don't want that, I don't like that. And I'm just like, Jill. Anyway, so she's really sweet. And she's like, yeah, no, I don't like receiving shots, but I like giving them. And I'm like, yeah, well, you are a nurse giving out shots all day. So yeah. So anyway, so I'm gonna have to call tomorrow. Today. It's today. But it's also, I heard on the radio, it's really important. We all have to remember that it's day, and you have to, and I'm like, what? And I'm trying to listen. I'm like, to my sister, I'm like, what day is it? And she's like, it's Veterans Day. And I was like, oh. So we're like, yeah, we don't care. Listen, I care about the individual, not the system. But, so I'm like, I totally forgot it's Veterans Day. So now I'm like, what if that place is, like, not open on Veterans Day? So now I'm like, ooh. Anyways, but yeah, also, I know I mentioned it, but I pet my cat the other day, and it didn't hurt, and I was so glad about it. So I pet my dog, earlier, and he was like, whoa, what are you doing? And I'm like, I know, I'm just like, the problem is that I need, like, I want other people to be extra cuddly to these animals, because, like, I call them mine, because I can't take care of them, I can't pet them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't, unless I want to just ruin the rest of my day, and it's so nice, to be able just to pet them, so I think I want to try to pet them more, but I also feel like absolute garbage, so 50-50, I guess. I have such a bad headache, well, not a bad headache, it's just there, you know what I'm saying? It's not the worst, but the uneven lights give me headaches more than anything. I either need to completely, like, I can sit in the dark and, like, just jam, just vibe, but I cannot deal with such uneven lighting of, like, it being bright over there and then nothing over here. It's, anyways, I don't know, man. I wonder if I could get myself a shot. I wonder, the problem is I just wanted a few times where I didn't have to, and it's just making me more stressed, man. I'm such a stressed little person. I can't do this. Anyways, Yeah, you know the game, House of Ashes? I, heard someone say, I don't know about it, and they were talking only praise for Little Hope and only praise for Man and Medan, and so the fact that that person's like, I just don't know, I'm like, ooh, is it that bad, or is it, would I deem it good, and they think it's bad? Like, we just have differing opinions. I don't know, but yeah, and it's my mom's birthday, so I don't know, man, and I have to get up early again, and again. Well, maybe if the urgent care place does take me and it is late, open later, I might not have to get up as early. But some of these nurses and stuff, obviously, they close pretty early, and then I don't like being there, like 15 minutes minimum before they close. It just is rude. Like today, I was there at the set, like that's why no one was there. I was there like slam at the end. I'm walking in and it's like 20 minutes before closing and I feel like a dick and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but can I have my shots? And they're like, yeah, dude. And then they stabbed me and I walked away. Well, I stood there for a second, but I carry my EpiPens, so like that's good. I should ask for a new refill for those. You need a like refill prescription, right? Like you don't just turn it in. I think you can just buy it. My laptop is trying to load. Boom. Right. Stay safe and stay hydrated. Yeah. I would assume, I'm not gonna like that. I'm just gonna assume you don't just get it continuously somehow. Anyways, yeah, there's 3 teenage boys out when we were out earlier, and it was so funny because they were like, bro, because they were like taller than me and they were big, but they were like obviously kind of slightly younger, so like a young adult boys, and they're like, bro, and then one of them saw this like axe throwing game where it like blow up or like not real axes, and then like a target and you throw it and it sticks, and they're like, bro, it's like Dave and Buster's, and I was like, oh my god. And then someone was like, bro, they're like real shoes, but like slippers. And I'm like, looked at them, I'm like, yeah. And then a different dude, a different group, he walked in and he was all like, oh man, I would wear this jacket right now, but it's like a girlish jacket, like a girl jacket or a woman jacket. So of course he's not gonna buy it. And I'm like, girl, just buy your like teddy bear fuzzy jacket. Just buy one. Nobody is judging, you know what I'm saying? I'm judging you for not getting it, you know? Because like if you just like something, wear it, you know? Who cares?